Alrighty, guys, as I'm live, everything should be good to go. Hope everyone's doing good today on this Saturday. It is Tasteful fan service. It's more subcultural stuff. Hopefully, y'all do check out that Resident Evil demo if you got a PS5. I know they're like unicorns, but if you got a PS5, check out that new Resident Evil demo. That's gonna be either out later today or tomorrow. I think it's later today. But yeah, the castle demo. I'm excited. I'm gonna stream it sometime tonight. If it's out tonight, I'll stream it when it comes out, but I gotta look into exactly what time it is. But I'll stream it. It'll be 30 minutes again, so that should be fun. Today we got some good stuff for you here today, and this first one is equally funny and sad that we're gonna talk about. And without further ado, let's just get into it. We're rolling into another episode of the Minds of Tasteful Fan Service podcast. And today, stimulating topics are going to be Captain America, Black. That's going to be a headline story, but we got a lot more stuff to cover. And from My Little Ponies having a Nazi issue to the new Dexter revival and Mortal Kombat and what the future of that can entail with the movie that just came out. So let's take a look at this first. Travesty? Is that the right word for this? Travesty. Let's take a look here. New video game, Our America, puts the viewer in the driver's seat as a black father taking his son to school. Along the way, they are pulled over by police, leading to life and death choices. Before I say anything else, I want to show you a clip that they so generously provided. Take a look at some of the gameplay.
But am I better than dads you don't know?
Dad! You know what? I'll get out your way just so you can fully experience it. The riveting gameplay.
I love you too, and I'm not always the best. It's okay, Malcolm. We're just going to talk to the police. Maybe I missed a turn back there, a signal or something.
Are we safe? What's he gonna do?
Yeah, everything's gonna be fine, Malcolm.
Oh wow, look at that lifelike walking animation.
Good morning. Good morning.
He's got a gun!
Oh no. No. It's gonna be okay, son. I love you, son. It's gonna be okay.
And that will be the end of it. Now, if I have to explain to you why that was hot garbage trash, I don't think there's any room for me helping you here. But I'll do so regardless. As we see here, this furthers the narrative that cops are just out here gunning down black folks, trying to take them out, looking for them for whatever. I got some positive, good stories, some fun stuff to talk about in this one. I wish I didn't have to talk about some of this stuff, but I can't let people like this make it. I can't let people just put out, first off, this half-baked polygonal game that looks like it was thrown together in maybe 5 minutes, if that. So they half-ass this game, but funny thing is they make sure they skit in their political message. Just have the game look playable enough so that way you can get your political message in there. Like, wild, to say the least. To say the least. It's really not any much more I can say about that. It's just this furthers a narrative that's not true. We know that white people are more likely to die per police interaction than black people. If you count an entire population of white people, entire population of black people, then yeah, black people are more likely. But also, every black person doesn't have an interaction with a cop every year. Neither does every white person. So if you look at the actual statistic that matters, being the interaction with police, white people are more likely to be shot and killed by police. Don't believe my word for nothing, as I always say. Look it up for yourself. But I just want to let you know, people are still being crazy. No surprise, of course. But we're going to move on to something a little less terrible, awful, disappointing, disconcerting, faith in humanity being ripped away from you. We're going to move on to something a little better. So, you didn't know Mortal Kombat was just released. I believe it was over last weekend. It was on last Friday, I believe, or yesterday. It was released recently, and I watched it. It was okay. Like it wasn't terrible as far as like a viewing experience. Like, there was enough fights in there to keep you interested. The visual effects were good. It that looked good. The acting was pretty decent. The issue is the structure and the plot. I will be doing a full review on that, but there's some issues there. Some issues as far as how the rules work of the verse, and just some needless changes. And, you know, obviously tokenizing Melina, when literally tokenizing her from an Asian looking model of a character. Obviously she's not Asian, but her model, like her character, like her hair texture, her eyes, her general frame, she looks more Asian. So inspired as far as her humanoid design. Same way how like Clark Kent Superman looks like Caucasian, even though he's a Kryptonian. He's not even from Earth. He doesn't even abide by the races and whatnot we have here, but obviously he looks like a Caucasian man. So where did they tokenize him from something else to from Asian to black, showing again how they consider Asians white people, and all this protect Asians or Asian Lives Matter stuff is all theater. However, the movie was decent for what it was, but we do know that there are sequel plans that Simon Quaid had talked about. So let's take a look at this article from Variety. So they say here that several major characters die in the movie, but Mortal Kombat fans know that death isn't something permanent in the video game franchise. So we could see someone like Sub-Zero become Noob Saibot in the future. We already know Scorpion is a character that literally rose from hell and uses hell flames. And then, of course, we have Kung Lao, Melina, Reiko, Natara, and Kano all dying, which can... and also Goro, which they can come back in a variety of ways. But he did also say that he doesn't want death to be something inconsequential. So he'll bring some people back and leave other people dead, most likely. So... what he said, what Quaid said he wanted to see in a follow-up, he definitely wanted to see something more like the S word, huh? That's interesting. Anyway, definitely wanted to see Johnny Cage. Want to see him. It's kind of a criminal that he wasn't in the first movie, but in the sequel he wants to. He did say that he's such a giant personality and has his own gravitational field, which he kind of does, that he would throw the rest of the movie off balance. I think that's actually a good thing. If you have a character with a large and light personality that just sucks the air out of the room and just steals the show, that means you have to raise your writing game. You have to raise your writing game up, and you have to increased your storytelling ability to be able to match not just Kano's, but Johnny Cage's energy. Something like how Kano was basically the star of the show, and he stole the show as far as I'm concerned. So that's what we more so would be needing to see from Johnny Cage, like the rest of the cast being brought up the par. So I think it was a mistake he wasn't in the first one, but hopefully we will see him in the next one. And then of course he said Katana will be interesting, and he also had mentioned he might want to see Rain. And of course, we have the big issue that the Mortal Kombat movie doesn't have the Mortal Kombat tournament in it. And he said he didn't want to redo the first film, and he said that, you know, if we look at the games, we do see evolution over the decades, and that's true that we do see that. However, I would be remiss to mention that typically what we see as far as change is like they do like reboots, and sometimes like they do like really like wide reaching reboots. So I would say that yes, that it does evolve over time, but the main idea and the main goal is the tournament, and everything kind of spills out from the tournament and the results of the tournament. So I think that being the focus should have been the focus. So, and you could see how getting these characters into situations to fight each other was a little difficult for the movie to achieve because we didn't have a tournament setting. And last thing we had talked about was Cole Young, the original character, which is an interesting thing. I'm definitely going to highlight this in the review, but I always talk like about, instead of tokenizing characters, if you want to make a new character, just make a new character. And I would give them credit for this, but the funny thing is that there's nothing unique about Cole. Like, he could have been so many other characters. Like, he could have just been Johnny Cage. He could have actually been Takeda, but obviously all the characters would have to be older to make that happen, so it could happen later. But he could have easily been Johnny Cage. You could have had him just take him out and have more story going on for Scorpion or Hanzo, either name you would like to call him. There's a lot of stuff that could have happened, but it's interesting that we didn't have that go on. So that's what he had to say as far as that. He said that he was always connected to Scorpion, and his character evolved because with the other characters there was less sideways movement, and we had we had to be very specific with bringing those characters to life the right way, and they did some of them right way, I would say. But again, Melina, just weird. It's a weird choice. Don't understand it. But that's overall. Again, I give the movie maybe like a 6, maybe like a 5 or 6. It's average. It's nothing. It's nothing crazy. I mean, and especially when you stack it up against other video game movies and like how we know how video game movies are, it's not ultimately all that bad compared to those. I mean, video game movies have a terrible track record. The best ones being something like Detective Pikachu and Sonic and Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Those are some of like the more top tier of the superhero film genres, right? Or like I would kind of include Ready Player One, but it's a book about video games. It's not really a video game, so yeah, potato. But in other media news, we do have news that Captain America 4 is in the works. Of course, starring Sam Wilson, who is the new Captain America. Now, I do talk about this in my review. Not a fan of this decision. Not a fan of him being Captain America. Should just be, if they want to make a movie about Captain America, they could just call it Falcon. They could just call it a Falcon. That's it. But you know, give the black man the white man's hand-me-down name. Okay. Let's look at this article from GameStop, shall we? A 4th Captain America is happening in the follow-up of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So, with Falcon and the Winter Soldier wrapped up, Disney's next movie is Captain America 4. Well, their next movie is Shang-Chi, which will revolve around Sam Wilson under the Cap mantle, according to Hollywood Reporter. Then the film will be spearheaded by the Captain America and the Winter Soldier showrunner, because they changed the name at the end, Malcolm Spellman. Disney's second streaming MCU TV show had wrapped up last night, and the major reveal teased by the final moments of 2019 Avengers Endgame, Sam Wilson has officially taken up the mantle. Not like he had his own mantle, but okay. And of course, mantle, unlike it was just someone's inherent identity, but yeah, sure, whatever. Currently known only as Cap America 4, Spellman will co-write the script alongside Dallin Muson, a staff writer on Falcon and the Winter Soldier. According to THR, no cast has been officially announced, but the finale of the show makes it very clear that Sam Wilson will be in the spotlight for this film. However, this doesn't mean that we won't also see conflicts with various pretenders to the throne, like John Walker, or the return of other comic book Captain America, like Bucky Barnes, or flashbacks of Steve Rogers. Currently no directors attached, but we already knew that this was going to be pushed out. This was inevitability. They didn't do all this dancing and dress the black man up in the white, red, and blue stripes to not capitalize on them. Par for the course. Take it for what you will. If you like this, if you like the tokenizing of heroes, if you prefer Falcon to have another man's identity rather than having his own inherent unique identity being the Falcon, because you can enjoy this. Personally, not for me. But speaking on this topic, I did want to talk about a New York Times article that talked about how blackness is a superpower. When blackness is a superpower, from Falcon to Black Panther to a potential new Superman, a wave of rejuvenated heroes reimagined by black creators are rewriting superhero mythologies. And obviously we have a moving graphic showing multiple different black heroes. Some I like, some I find ridiculous. Like Ironheart, what is that? Earth 2 Superman, I believe that's Calvin. Ridiculous. We got Nubia over here. Original Nubia, I don't have too much of an issue with, but I mean, the newer version, weird. Riri Williams, all of that, ridiculous. But here we have, after the success of the Star Wars series, The Mandalorian, and the Marvel series, Winter Soldier, the bar is set high for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But a series that focuses on two secondary characters, one black and one white, from the Captain America comic book storyline, surpassed those expectations as the most watched premiere in Disney Plus history. As the show's first season comes to an end on Friday, success can be seen as part of a wave of black superheroes that conquered our screens and comic book pages in recent years in numbers with nuance never seen before. Nuance never seen before. You're really milking this, aren't you? But okay. We have Monica Rambeau, of course, that they're bringing up here from WandaVision, and she's going to be appearing in Captain Marvel 2. I like Monica Rambeau in the comics. This woman that they have in the MCU is not Monica Rambeau. She's Monica Rambeau in name only, not how she got her powers, not how she acts, not exactly how she acts, but not how, as far as looking up to Carol Danvers, coming after her, or getting her powers from Wanda. Like, all of that is just muddy and strange. But okay, kind of trampled on her legacy, especially having her look it up to Carol Danvers. Awful. We also have Nubia, Black Amazon, who was raised alongside Wonder Woman. She had appeared in 1973. she was made out of black clay, and Wonder Woman was made out of white clay, and then different gods had like blessed the different clays, which gave them both different powers. I don't have too much issue of Nubia, but of course with reboots and stuff, you have pre-crisis, post-crisis, Earth 2, New 52. You have it just moving on, Rebirth. It's just so many different versions and iterations that I don't believe she started terribly, but I believe where she is now is just she's kind of a caricature of herself rather than even a caricature of Wonder Woman. But Nubia is I don't really have a gripe with, to be honest. So yeah, but I do find it funny that they did say she was racially profiled and detained by police when she tries to save the day. She tries to save the day and she's detained by police. Yeah. Okay. And I do want to mention something here that they point out. They said, can you be a hero if society doesn't see you as a person? The more traditional incarnation of Nubia would usually see in DC's future state. And of course, that is garbage. All of that. That's where you get Black Batman from, and that is also garbage. And of course, now she's currently queen of the Amazons, which again should be Wonder Woman, but whatever. What I want to highlight though, when I said can you be a hero if society doesn't see you as a person, that's the issue here. Why does every story with like a black character have to focus on the society and oh this and that, and they don't respect me and I'm black and victim, victim, victim? Why is it never, and I mean never, just a story about a hero saving the day? Why can't we see a story where they say, oh, here's this story, this guy has super strength and he can kind of run fast and jump really high, and he shoots lasers out of his fingernails. I don't know. Let's see what Laser Fingernail Man has to do. He also happens to be black, but that's fine. We're just gonna tell the story. Always have to be about race. All of them. Wonder if they're trying to push an agenda. We do have also the Umbrella Academy. I was never really into Umbrella Academy, couldn't really get into it, but I know a lot of people are fans of it. It doesn't make it bad, just means it's not really for me. But we have Allison Hargreaves is one of a posse of supernaturally gifted siblings raised to save the world, but one whose particular abilities speak subtly but powerfully to the notion of blackness as a superpower. Blackness is not a superpower, ladies and gentlemen. Please, please don't believe blackness is a superpower. In his book, Super Black, American Pop Culture and Black Superheroes, oh Lord, it's about Falcon's transformation in the 1970s from Captain America's sidekick to a superhero in his own right. And Wilson's wings are a gift from the Black Panther, the result of Wakanda technology. By progressing the most venerated powers in the superhero universe, the Falcon's flight symbolized black social and economic upward mobility that was right in line with real world changes. Yeah, until the New Deal, which married us to the government welfare state, really started and truly expanded, and then we went down the drain. But okay. I did want to focus on that, on the when they had mentioned this, and we're gonna go to when they had mentioned Umbrella Academy. But this right here shows you how these people don't understand things. Check this out here. We see this image. The relationship between Malcolm X left. They had to point out which one was Malcolm X. You could possibly get him confused with the comic book man in red over here with the purple cape. You might just get him confused. And the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. may have been the inspiration for the X-Men relationship between Magneto on the right. Remember, guys, this one is Magneto, the one on the right, and this one is. Wait. Is this one Magneto? Wait. Let me just read that again. Malcolm's on the left. Right. Malcolm's on the left. The Magneto, the comic book character's on the right. Don't get it confused. I almost just got it mixed up myself. Thank goodness they write it here. And Professor Charles Xavier Magneto took a more aggressive stance in his fight for mutant rights, as did Malcolm X during the Civil Rights Movement. You see right here? More aggressive stance in his fight. That's and the beginning and the ending of their similarities. You see, especially back during Malcolm's time, and even the just the beginnings of Magneto as a character. He was a supremacist, a straight up supremacist. He just hated humans, regardless of whatever, whether they were good, bad, good ones, bad ones, ones that were allies, ones that wanted to fight on their side, doesn't matter. Hated them all. He was straight up supremacist, said mutants are better, and he wanted to wipe out everyone else. So it would just be mutants that survive. That's who Magneto is. Go read the old comics if you think I'm lying, but that's who Magneto is. Malcolm X talked about black dignity, black people respecting themselves, the fact that poor white immigrants can come over here with dirt and pocket land and then make empires. So he said if black people could pool their money, they could do the exact same thing. He talked about the buying power of black people, and he talked about the fact that we don't have dignity as a people, so we always ask the white man for stuff instead of just doing it for ourselves. He preached, do not make a table for yourself rather than asking for a seat at someone else's table. If you want a big synopsis of what he thought about things, that is a far cry from Magneto's wanting to just annihilate the annihilation of the entire human race. But yeah, this shows you right here, for one, they don't understand Malcolm, they don't understand Magneto, and they don't understand superheroes, comics, or supervillains. If you wanted a reason why this article is largely garbage. And then here we have the Umbrella Academy. I did want to mention this. So, the Netflix series is based on a comic, of course. Hargreaves is white in the comics. On screen, though, she is played deftly by the black actress Amy Raver Lampin. Alice's power rings differently in the body of a black woman. Wow. Her power is actually enhanced when her skin changes a few shades and her hair gets a little more kinky. Goodness. That she could unlock her true form the whole time. She just needed to be a little darker. Goodness. Well, I didn't know why it wasn't in front of our faces the whole time. In season 2, the showrunners demonstrate just how differently by transporting Allison and her siblings to Dallas in 1963, before the days of the assassination of JFK. In this universe, Alice is married to a black man, and in order not to be revealed as a superhero, she must not use her power, even as she goes through frightening array of segregationist intimidations. So, as you can see here, and I want to move off of this article because my stomach is beginning to turn. You see here that they literally changed a character that had nothing to do with this, and then just made her racially charged, and you mixed her in with all the social ills and perceived issues with black people. Of course, back then that's the difference, but the point is that whole storyline didn't exist until they wanted to change it from what it originally was. I have an issue in Invincible because they've changed multiple characters. They changed Invincible's girlfriend to a black girl for absolutely no reason. They changed Rex Blow into a black guy, absolutely no reason. they changed just a good number of things that just don't enhance the story. And maybe if they weren't so focused on changing the race of people, they would have noticed that the plot is grossly different than what it was in the comics and is kind of getting out of hand as far as how the adaptation is going. I just wanted to bring this up just to show that, just to say that, one, blackness is not a superpower, whiteness is not a superpower. Guess what? Superpowers don't exist. For one. For two, the point of being a hero is about what's inside, not outside. I go into fairly decent detail of that on my Falcon and Winter Soldier review. So go check that out if you want more on what really makes a hero. But I'm just going to give you the TLDR. It's in what's inside, not what's outside. Oh, moving on. We're going to talk about Justice League, the Snyder Cut, ladies and gentlemen. And if you ever feel, and this is interesting because this can be applied to a couple different areas. If you ever feel as if you're the crazy one, you don't typically agree with what the crowd is going for and all the craziness and wild stuff people are putting on Twitter and the internet and what you see on the news with riots and violence and everything, and you see people just being like, hey, whatever. Are you seeing literal calls to violence from people like LeBron, people like Maxine Waters, people, literal old folks' homes being turned into slaughterhouses by the Whitmers and the Cuomos of the world? And you're just like, does no one else see the craziness? The Snyder Cut is gonna maybe make you feel a little better, maybe give you some hope that a lot more people are more rational than you might think. And that's because less than half the Justice League viewers finished the movie. Now, I don't say this to say that people who watch the movie fully are insane, but I will conclude that point later. But let's check this out. According to Simon TV report, from 2.2 million households who started watching the Snyder Cut on HBO Max, only 36%, around 792,000 households, actually finished it in the UK. The rate was better, from 954 households, 48%, around 458K finished the Snyder Cut. So that's obviously not great. And then we also have some other data that the HBO agent reportedly crashed as a result of the apparent demand for Zack Snyder's Justice League. So apparently there was a surge, but ultimately a lot of people did not finish it. And to move towards my point is that now we're seeing that people are saying it's failed. This article comes from Forbes because it did not drive new HBO Max subscriptions. So those who wanted it watched it and enjoyed it, but there is a difference between online fandom and general audience interest. So AT&T reported 2.7 million new HBO and HBO Max subscribers in the most recent quarter, which may be considered somewhat disappointing, considered the sheer amount of big deal content offered by a Warner Media platform. And to be fair, subscriber retention is as important as new subscribers, as 44.2 million domestic subscribers is still around 662.6 million in new revenue each month. However, Zack Snyder's Justice League didn't quite move the needle over the last quarter, is in itself not necessarily a disaster. And first, one can argue the subscriber bump in the previous quarter upon December 3rd announcement of all the 2021 theatricals would be going to HBO currently with the theatrical releases, representing anyone who was excited about the whole WB slate as a whole. But you can over that there was much overlap for folks who might have subscribed for Wonder Woman, Mortal Kombat, Godzilla, and of course, the Snyder Cut. Now, if AT&T really sticks to their promise to only do HBO Max/theater deals for 2021, and they did cut a deal with Cineworld promising 45-day window in 2022, then maybe this was really desperate times call for desperate measures. And we also saw that Kong moved up in May 21 to March 31st, partially because HBO Max needed a big movie between Wonder Woman 1984 and Mortal Kombat, and even with around 3.5 million folks checking in on opening weekend via HBO Max, the film will still earn under 95 million domestic and give or take Japan next month over/under 435 million. So as for Zack Snyder's Justice League, it got made. It was pretty good. The fans got to see, but it was never going to rewrite the ongoing path for DC films. There was a difference between allocating $70 million in a pandemic to craft a new version of an already shot motion picture and spending $500 million on 2 more theatrical or even streaming exclusive sequels to that movie. So this was an admitted Hail Mary, which compensated for a lack of buzzing streams about the original during a pandemic that thus helped keep some post-production houses in business. All of that aside, Warner Brothers knew that the Snyder fandom was a very vocal minority, and this ties on what I was talking about before, and that the online fandom does not equal general audience interest. That more than anything else is a lesson that the media and at least some in the industry need to learn yesterday. Lucasfilm and or Disney shot themselves in the foot, seemingly taking the online outcry over the well-reviewed and well-received from an A from Cinema Score on opening weekend, The Last Jedi at face value. That contributed to the equally divisive but critically panned with a B from Cinema Score, Rise of Skywalker, which grossed, to be fair, $1.073 billion worldwide. So when we see stuff like that, there's a lot more information in this article. I encourage you to read it. It's pretty interesting. But when we see things like that, you can see that there's a difference between the people that's yelling and screaming for something and the people that, and everybody else, really. The yellers and the screamers and everyone else. So it just goes to show that, there was so much outcry. For years, we had people, Snyder Cut, where's the real vision? This isn't it. Wheaton sucks, blah, blah, blah. Turns out most people didn't care, and most people didn't want to see it. And those that did want to see it, or had even a passing interest, didn't even finish it in a lot of cases. It just goes to show, just because someone's loud doesn't mean they're right. I want to go next to... Honestly, I don't even know what to say about this. This is just unbelievable. There's no segue on earth good enough for this other than just to say the title. So there it is. There it is. My Little Pony fans are ready to admit they have a Nazi problem. Even a niche subculture built around magical cartoon horses is reckoning with racism. I actually think I just got a headache. Like, legitimately, I think I just got a headache. My whole family has migraines, so like I'm very acutely aware of when my head hurts. No, it's not the headphones. No, the second I pulled this up again, my head started to hurt. I'm gonna just give you the highlights of this because it's ridiculous, but most of this involves bronies. My Little Pony fans have had a Nazi problem for a long time. Oh my god. Sounds strange. And yeah. This is just so hard. But My Little Pony has extremely dedicated adult fandom, which mostly is made up of men, or bronies, as they've been referred to for nearly a decade. Most of these men are white. Some of these men are vocal white supremacists. There's a Brony subculture, which is about as niche as they come, born from the internet forums in the early 2010s. Even so, bronies have long captured the world's attention, and they hold well-attended fan conventions. They've been stars of multiple documentaries. Many of show the adult fans genuinely enjoy My Little Pony, the wholesome escapism it provides. Others, however, delight in the irony of their fandom. To them, it's edgy and provocative to be an adult obsessed with cartoon ponies. Racism and cartoon ponies. Like, this is a meme. This is clown world, people. This is clown world. That's where the Nazis come in, bro. Oh my god. My Little Pony fans primarily express their enthusiasm for the show by sharing their cartoon drawings of main characters, which they usually upload to image boards. And then here we have some of the issues that they're citing coming in. We have the fact that a substantial number are extremely violent and image recently viewed on our site depicts a character presiding over 3 lynchings and 1 beheading of cartoon drawn to represent. I have such a hard time getting through this because it's just ridiculous. Various marginalized groups. Devereaux even lists racist as a searchable category, and more than 900 pieces of art are tagged as such. They go on to say in here how they didn't support BLM and how they had art making fun of them and whatnot. The world of Equestria and the real world are colliding. And they just mocked protests with racist fan art. At the same time, My Little Pony art that was supportive of Black Lives Matter protests was being hit with hundreds of downvotes and apparently coordinated action that is against the site's rules. The conflict was a fraction of what's happening on the site, which is still dominated by its usual memes and comic strips and adoring portraits. And those users typically discourage political work, but it sparked a significant conversation about racism in the fandom for the first time. As you say, moderation is always complicated, but never more so when a community is unsure of what it wants to be or what it's willing to play host to. Devereaux's tiny policy change has led to an uproar in the site's forums, and disgruntled users insist that it will lead to a purity spiral or a slippery slope to censorship and authoritarianism, the standard set of arguments that come up in every major moderation dispute, which tend to conflate site rules with deplatforming with government crackdowns on free speech. That's funny how you say that, because that's exactly what happens in a lot of cases, and we see it on multiple occasions, that they create protected classes. If you're not in the protected class, you can have just as many death threats and awful things said to you and coordinate attacks on you. They'll do nothing, but no articles come out trying to defend those people, like the Tim Pools or the Steven Crowders of the world. What I wanted to talk about this for is freaking ponies, is that from the excerpts I read you, saw that there's a group of people that take issue with certain things, and they're using their free rights to express themselves. I haven't seen the images, and they could be awful. They could also be not as bad as they're painting them here. Both could be true. Could be a mix, and it could be a lot that's, not political. What I find strange is that dedicating time to this My Little Pony fan base when all of these people are adults. These people are typically secluded away from like children. Like this isn't like there's mixes of children in this fan base. Like again, like they said, this is an adult fan base of mostly men, bronies. So they're sharing this with other adults. It's just like I'm against silencing anyone for things when they're not harming others. If those are truly egregious things, yeah, they should be taken down, of course. But if they are not truly egregious, if they aren't truly offensive in any meaningful use of the word, I believe this is all theater and pointless. Just you're seeking out somewhere to be offended at this point. Like, no one knows these people exist until they remember. Until someone brings up a brony, you forget they exist. This is not a systemic problem. This is nothing. They aren't affecting politics. They aren't controlling public discourse. They are tucked in a pocket of the world. You've called them a niche yourself in this article, literally harming no one. Of course, if you see something truly egregious on a site, I'm all for that platform holder taking it down. I'm all for a platform holder doing whatever they want with their website. I just wish rules and regulations and things of that nature were carried out equally to everyone rather than just whatever protected class that is being protected today. I just think that this is such a weird thing to even focus on, but that's what people want. For the last topic of the day, we are going to discuss Dexter. A new teaser for Dexter's Showtime revival has arrived. You can look at the teaser if you want. It's literally nothing. It's a axe in a log in the woods. That's it. And it's 10 seconds. Like, it's nothing. Now, what I will tell you here is that, of course, if you didn't know, there is a 10-part limited series coming to clean up the ending, which left a lot of people disappointed after the end of Dexter in 2013. So we do have the fact that there's not much to work with because the tweet that is the brief video, which is the teaser, it's called Nature Calling. We see the axe in the tree stump. We see it in the woods. Like I said, it's not much to it. Details about the revival remain pretty much secretive entirely right now. We do know Michael C. Hall will be returning. We do know it will be 10 episodes. It will pick up several years later. And the only actor confirmed to be making a turn is Clancy Brown. And they'll be Hall is the only one that from the original cast that will be confirmed to make a return, but Clancy Brown will be playing the show's antagonist. And Palapan actor Kathy Sullivan is among the most recent additions to the cast. So we'll see where this ends up going. But, you know, they did give us a teaser, so that's typically before a full trailer, and then maybe a release date, of course. That's what we're looking for. But I am very excited for Dexter. I love Dexter. I love series like Dexter, Hannibal, Prodigal Son. Very interesting stuff. I love the Hannibal movies, the Hannibal books. I mean, just all of this stuff I just think is so fascinating to watch. And I know there's a lot of Dexter fans out there. So if you didn't know this was coming, excited, get hyped. Hopefully they do us right. Hopefully they clean up the ending so more people are left more satisfied. But yeah, this should be good. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, there's the show. Hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Tasteful Fan Service podcast. But with that, I'm out.